Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show of the WSSR Cup Series Season 10 Championship race at Dover. It's race 1 of 2 in the championship round. We want to say thank you to everyone that's hopping in to watch this post-race show on our video form. After technical issues, we had to move it over to the video, as we now will head to Victory Lane to talk to our winner of the Dover race, of James Scioli. The driver had to fight and defend for everything that he had on that last lap, and it was picture perfect for the 77. James, it's Sam and Richard up in the booth. Congratulations on winning this Dover race. How are you feeling after going green all the way throughout this run?
Thanks, guys. Feeling pretty good. A little bit closer there at the end, but hopefully made for an exciting broadcast there and an exciting finish. Just unfortunate that I had to miss last week, so not in the playoffs. This would have been a huge win, especially would have given me some good momentum into Homestead and fighting for the championship. But still glad started at the back and was able to drive through the field and get into the top 5 kind of on that first fuel run, and just super happy that it went green. I love trying to save tires, love natural battles like that me and Ryan had, just both clean, both trying to save our tires and then going hard at the end. So glad it stayed green. Glad I was able to keep the right rear on it. And yeah, it was a super hot track, so tough to keep the tires on. A lot of people blowing them, trying to do the one stop. So just kind of all about managing that and still just trying to get through the field on that first run, keep the car clean, and have something for them at the end.
Yeah, great win today, James. And, kind of pulling a textbook page from your teammate Drew Jewis, starting at the back and making your way up 23 positions to win the race. I mean, how did it feel with the tires started to leave when they got old in that long run at the beginning of the race?
It started getting pretty sketchy, especially on the bottom. I was getting really, really loose. And so I kind of started, once I broke the top 10, I really started parking it up top and then just kind of trying to drive it straight off on the bottom. And for whatever reason, my car really liked that. It was able to keep the right rear on it a little bit better too. I didn't know how the tires were going to react to that line, but was able to get some good passes like that. Didn't end up getting caught up behind anybody. So just kind of trying to go where they're not and just protect the whole time, just try not to slide. And that's the big thing. You can't slide them at all. You got to just keep it straight. And so that's what I did and was able to work my way to the front.
I mean, James, during this race, like you said, the one stop a lot of drivers were attempting to go to was the one stop for you. The time that you went into pit road, was it a choice of I blew a tire, I had to go into pit road, or were you thinking about just stretching it as far as you could go, like we saw from Ryan Kelly?
Yeah, I was trying to go long. I almost kind of wish that I had gone a couple laps more because I was still pretty even pace with him. But honestly, I knew that I had a gap behind me and was going to be able to get it nice and easy onto pit road, not get run over or anything. So I just kind of saw my opportunity there and took it. And then coming out of the pits, once he ended up pitting, I think I had about a 4.5 or 5 second lead. So it was just all about lifting early and just trying to get the tire percentage back even with him, because he ended up pitting a couple laps later. So his tires I knew were going to be better. So just trying to save mine that whole beginning of the run. I knew that he'd be there at the end, so just trying to save and then just use air to my advantage. And once again, just kind of committed to that top lane and just trying to get good runs off, and was able to just barely hang on.
Well, it was awesome to watch. It was a pleasure to see this race stay green all the way through. James, before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, huge shout out to Lucky Ducks. Doug Newbigging finished 4th. Brian Noel finished 10th. Unfortunately, Drew ended up getting a speeding penalty, so that kind of hurt his championship chances. But and shout out to the field too, keeping it green. Everybody racing each other clean. A lot of respect out there. A lot of people letting each other go, and just really appreciate that from the field. Big shout out to you guys for the broadcast all season. We got one more, so just a huge shout out to you guys and the admin team for sticking with us. And then shout out to Lucky Ducks, Meals on Wheels, Mobile One, Team Rubicon, Simrat Market for being on the car. And unfortunately, not racing for a championship, but hopefully we're talking to you guys again next week.
We hope so too. Well, James, congratulations on your 4th win this season. This makes you the most winning driver for season 10 so far. And congratulations on that. And enjoy this victory and good luck next week at Homestead.
Thanks, guys.
As we move from victory lane, we go down to second place to talk to Ryan Kelly, which, looking at the points, I believe they were just have been updated. The 3 will be your points leader entering into Homestead next week. Ryan, I mean, this has got to be pretty jarring to see how last week's race ended for yourself to make it into this championship round to now entering Homestead as the championship leader. How are you feeling after this performance here tonight?
Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm just thankful to be in this position. I had a couple of tough weeks there when the playoffs started and got into a couple incidents was just hanging on and hoping to make it to this round. And yeah, it went good tonight, and hopefully it'll go even better next week.
Yeah, Ryan, it was fantastic to see you up here racing and like leading this race. And statistically, you were definitely the favorite to win based on the last race. But I mean, is just Dover one of your favorite tracks that you're able to just drive 103 laps on those tires and still be safe?
Yeah, for some reason, Dover just seems to be a track that really goes well with me, and I've always seemed to have good speed here, and whether it's on the short run or the long run. And I knew the two-stop strategy probably wouldn't be quicker than the one stop. So right from the start of the race day, I just had in the back of my mind to take care of the tires there, and pushed it as long as I could there, right up until 103.
It was impressive to us to watch you do that, and it was crazy to see how long you decided to stretch it. It was a good thing that you did. Looking at the way that the lead numbers came around, you got that bonus point by 1 lap over John Forbes. He looks like John Forbes is going to be your closest contender heading into Homestead. What is the confidence heading into this final race that we have next week?
Yeah, it's kind of the same as tonight. Just hopefully start the race towards the front and just kind of take it easy and make it to the end and see what happens. I know all 6 drivers are super fast, and any one of us could win it. So hopefully things are as calm as they are next week as they were this week, and we could just have a good race.
Hoping for the same. Well, Ryan, congratulations on second, almost coming away with the win here tonight. And before we let you go, floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my teammates tonight. They're always a huge help, and they were giving me information during the race. And also shout out to all the sponsors of the league, all the admins, and you guys for putting on the show. And hopefully I can talk to you next week also.
We're hoping for that as well. That will be the three machine of Ryan Kelly from Yin Yang Racing coming away second here tonight and entering into Homestead next week as your points leader. Congratulations on tonight's run, Ryan, and good luck next week.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
As we move from second place, we go down to third, and we will only talk to our top three here this evening for the post-race show as we bring in third place finisher John Forbes, who, looking at the points, going to be second entering into next week at Homestead, just 3 points behind Ryan Kelly. John, you had an incredible performance. You actually took the crown. We thought it was going to go to Ryan Kelly, but you took the crown of being out on track on the longest stint of tires, 107 laps. I mean, how are you feeling coming away and finishing third with that impressive run at the end?
Yeah, just getting out of Dover with a clean car is an achievement in its own right for myself. I always have speed, but I don't know, Miles just always has it out for me. So coming into tonight, just wanted to have a nice, solid, clean run, and that's really exactly what we did. Really, the whole field, I got to give it up to everybody. 180 laps green at a pretty challenging racetrack was super cool as a league to be a part of. But yeah, it was just I didn't know what the right strategy was going to be. Like Vincent was having some trouble with his tires early in the race, so he decided to go with the basically the two-stop strategy. I think he actually ended up going one stop, but he pit really early compared to a lot of people. So like that strategy worked out for a couple of guys. Like I know Jarrett finished sixth. And yeah, just all kinds of different strategies. So we went, I think I pit, yeah, around lap 70. And from there, it said I was good on fuel at the time. So I brought down pit road. I thought it was going to be great on fuel. And I leave the box. And it's saying like 5 laps short. So now I'm kind of in a box. I have people to pass. And I'm 5 laps short on fuel. So I was able to get around everybody pretty cleanly, really just chilling out, picking and choosing my moves. I ended up getting through everybody, led a bunch of laps, and unfortunately, Ryan Kelly led one more lap than I did tonight, so I lost that bonus point by the thinnest of margins, but that's just how it is in this league. But yeah, just basically chilled out that entire run, saving tires, saving fuel, and then about 15 laps to go. Obviously, lost the lead. It's the guys on the better tires took it, and I was kind of staying with them. I was like, all right, maybe my tires will cycle back around. And then everybody started like blowing right fronts, and Gavin Rogers was having issues. So they kind of scared me. I was getting the call from the spotter, like, hey, your tires are getting kind of used up. And then they got another call a few laps later. So I didn't know if that was like the 50% down to like a super low percentage or if it was like the right front, the right rear. But I got pretty scared, and there was about 10 laps to go at this point. and I had about a 10-second gap to the car behind me. So I was like, okay, we're gonna hang on for P3 here. I'm not gonna get back to the leaders. We're just gonna chill out, keep the tires on it, and yeah, it just helped us with our fuel situation too. So got to the end, and I think my right rear was like 19%. So who knows? I might have blown it out if I kept charging as hard as I was. So this overall, it was just a big picture kind of race, trying to get to the last race and kind of a close position. And that's exactly what we did. Luckily, James Scully was able to hang on, win the race tonight. I think there's playoff points for that in these final rounds, but it kept the battle really close for me and Ryan Kelly next week. So it's going to be hopefully another super clean, fun race at Homestead, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, fantastic work tonight, John Forbes, with the P3 finish. But I mean, when it came down to pit strategy and when you wanted to pit, were you expecting to do a two or a one? Or was your original plan to do a two-stop strategy, or did you have to throw the audible to just kind of hang on to these tires for the last bit of the race?
No, I really did expect to go a one stop, and once I got to pit road, my tires were really good. After talking to everybody, like I think my right front was like 33, right rear 37, so I felt really comfortable at that point on making it. But at the same time, I wasn't really thinking about how much longer it was. I mean, it was 30 laps longer, 30, 40 laps longer than for the second run than the first run. So I really was just locked in the whole race. I really wasn't thinking about much. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna pit this lap. Just had a feeling about doing it. And I think I was one of the only guys that at least got a decent finish doing that, the one stop. So just the whole race was really fun. Just racing around everybody. Just everybody was just really respectful, really clean tonight. And I think that's just part of the last couple races of the season. Like nobody wants to be that guy that brings out the caution and just it's just a chain reaction from there with other wrecks and stuff. So yeah, I just got to give it up to everybody tonight.
I mean, it was incredible to see the field, and there were some pretty wild saves to make sure it stayed green. But John, you enter into next week 3 points behind Ryan Kelly, one race left to see if you could hoist that championship of being a WSSR Cup Series champion. What is your feeling knowing that there's one race left and it's Homestead?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. Like in a way, I'm like, okay, I'm only 3 points off. This is great. So, but on the other hand, it's like Ryan Kelly's always a guy that's in the top five. He's always doing really good. So unless he gets wrecked out, it's gonna be a tight battle for sure. And it might even come down to a tiebreaker at the end of it. It just depends on our speed. Because sometimes like one of us will be really good, and the next week like one of us is really bad. So you never know how it's gonna go with the next gen. Just the car drives so much different on each track. So it's really just who it's gonna benefit. And I think the fixed races are there this week, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be a great help to get out and do some of those. But overall, I think it's going to be really close. I mean, you see tonight we finished second and third. So him getting those couple point advantage from leading the most laps and stuff really helps. And I think it's going to be the same next week. It's just whoever wins is going to have a perfect race.
Well, it seems like that's always how the championship final race goes. John, tonight was awesome to see you stretch out the tires as far as you did and to come away with the top three finish. Congratulations on that. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, just got to thank J Performance being on board. Nexus, awesome to be on their team now. All kinds of guys I usually don't shout out, but like the Mo Radness gloves, always super cool to have. The track racer rig, and you guys for putting these things on. Obviously, got to thank Justin for the super cool scheme. That's probably gonna finish out our season here. Go hit him up at Gridless Graphics. He'll get you set up. Well, yeah, have a good night.
Well, that'll be the 11 machine of John Forbes coming away third here tonight. 3 points back from Ryan Kelly. We'll see if the numbers line up for him to take the championship next week. Congratulations on third, John. Enjoy this one and good luck next week.
All right, have a good night.
You too, as that will finish up our interviews for this post-race show. We now take a look at our unofficial results, as it was a wild one. And yes, when you take a look at these results, only 5 drivers on the lead lap. That's James Scioli, Ryan Kelly, John Forbes, Douglas Newbigging, and Cedric Hunter. Those are the drivers that went with the one stop here tonight. And then behind them, Jared Talmadge with the 2-stop call. And we find Chris Stitt 7th, Shane Terrian 8th, 9th is Justin Malarkey, who had another great run here of late, and Brian Noel finishing out our top 10. But you look deeper in the field, and Richard, this is shocking to say, but a lot of heavy contenders for the championship having poor runs here tonight.
Oh yeah, those like Gavin Rogers and Vincent Sora, just pit stop strategies is kind of what made them fall so far back. But then Drew Jua also getting involved in some issues, getting the black flag for unsafe pit exit is what really ruined his race there, finishing back in the 20th position. So a lot of playoff drivers not finishing where they were hoping to finish tonight, but that's going to make for an even more interesting race next week at Homestead. But Seth Noel also super far back, got involved into an incident coming out of one of the turns with Gavin Rogers, which not spun him, but he got down into that inside wall and I think caused too much damage for him to kind of continue racing well. So unfortunate run for him and unfortunate run for some of the other playoff drivers, but it's going to make for an exciting race next week with probably a lot of fireworks with these playoff drivers trying to finish in front of each other to try to get those last bit of points to catapult them to that championship win.
Like I said at the top of the broadcast, 53 drivers attempted to race at least one race here this season for Season 10 of the WSSR Cup Series. 6 remain to hoist the championship, and entering next week, those 6 drivers are lined up as so. Gonna be Ryan Kelly taking the top spot, entering into Homestead with a 3-point advantage over John Forbes. 6 points away is Cedric Hunter. 14 points back is Gavin Rogers. Going to be 16 points back is Vincent Sora, and 21 points back is Drew Jua. There is going to be a lot of fireworks next week at Homestead. The mile and a halves have been some of the closest racing action when you put these top 6 drivers out on the track. And I gotta say, Richard, next week is a must. You cannot miss race. If you've been watching and keeping up with the WSSR Cup Series, even if you haven't been keeping up, you do not want to miss this championship race next week.
No, you definitely don't want to miss it. And you're going to have drivers, some of these playoff drivers that are going to be hoping that those top 2 or 3 drivers don't have a good race. Because, I mean, double-digit points, that's a lot of points to make up to try and challenge for that trophy. So, I mean, it's going to be a really close race, and some of the drivers that probably didn't perform well tonight, next week might have a better chance. It might be a better track that suits their driving style, so we might have that field flipped over who finishes where, but it's going to be a close one to watch and definitely a well worth race to tune in as we return back to Homestead, Miami for the final race of this Season 10 championship.
Yeah, there's no stage points to be grabbed. There's only just a mere few bonus points, and that's based off where you finish. And it is going to be coming down to those final laps next week. Who will hoist the Season 10 championship? We'll have to wait to find out. We have ourselves this upcoming Monday off for the ISRC Truck Series, so if you want to see more racing, it's going to be next week for the championship race at Homestead. But after next week, we will be back with ISRC Truck Series being our one broadcast throughout the week moving forward after next week's race concludes. And it's been a fun back and forth watching the Truck Series and the Cup Series as we are now coming to a conclusion of our post-race show. We want to say thank you to everyone that was patiently watching our broadcast. If you go back and watch the Season 10 Dover race, I know we had some internet issues. We appreciate those that were patiently through that. Or if you just wanted to check out the post-race show, thanks for watching. As for myself, Sam Dyer, for Richard Wolsifer, for Robert Moyer Jr., and for everyone else here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you so much for joining with us, as this was a blast to call. They went coast to coast, green flag from the start to the checkered. It was a blast to see the longest Dover race stay green, and after Dover is finished, Ryan Kelly exits out. 3-point advantage for the 3 machine. Are his numbers lining up for a championship? We'll have to find out as when we see you next. It is the championship race in the championship round. We'll see you next week at Homestead for our final race of the season. We'll see you then on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.